So we're back, and we're talking about Brian K. Vaughan still. This is just something that's really been on my mind lately because I've been rereading a lot of his stuff, and it just never ceases to amaze me how amazing it really is. Um, so on to the book that I hinted at. We covered Runaways. This is a Vertigo title, which means it's more, it's much more, creator controlled, at least as something like that can be, and that is Why the Last Man. Why the Last Man, as I said, teasing this, is, I would say, like I said, a tie with Ennis's Preacher as the greatest long-running comic book of all time. Because obviously you get anything, and it is finite. It was 60 issues, and when you do get something that lasts, obviously into the hundreds of issues, there's going to be stuff that's going to suck sooner or later. We've all seen it. In Detective Comics is, it's in the 800s, and God knows how many of those issues have sucked. Action Comics, like I said, anything that runs for a number of years. I mean, like, essentially infinitely, eventually is going to have something that sucks sooner or later. So it's honestly kind of better sometimes to go out on top and to create something that is finite, because I think that's where the best series come from. Now, Why the Last Man, as you probably already know, if you read comic books at all, is about the tale of Yorick Brown, who is literally the last man on the face of the earth, because he basically there is an unexplained global genocide, if you will, of everybody with a Y chromosome. So basically all men wiped out. So it was a world ruled by women. And so, being the last man on Earth, you would think, well, this is going to get, this could go really easily very wrong, if in the wrong hands. But it's a love story, and it's a love story. It's Yorick searching for his girlfriend Beth, who may or may not even be alive, and at least that's how it starts out. And then a lot of people get mixed up into this. Basically, he has his two colleagues, the Dr. Allison, who may or may not know what exactly started this, or at least could maybe know how to cure it. And Agent 355 of the Culpa Ring. Now, these are two, great, really fleshed out characters throughout the series, and of course, they pick up some people along the way. Yorick's sister Hero. Again, these two names, being so Shakespearean because of their father, who was a literature professor, and basically chose obscure Shakespeare character names for the children. It was fantastic. It's a fantastic series. There's so much that you could say about it. Every arc works. I mean, it's a collection of 10 books, at least 10 trades anyway, excuse me. Like I said, 60 issues, 10 trades. And it's just marvelous. Marvelous work. And Pia Guerrera, who does the art for all the issues, it's not too cartoony, but it's not too realistic. It's a great comic, a great kind of pop comic art. Like I said, it's not too heavy on the realism as far as the art itself is concerned, but the situations that they find themselves in are very realistic, and it's it's an adult comic. It's definitely not meant for kids. So to see that level of depth put in both a comic, Runaways essentially is more or less kind of a kid's comic, but it's accessible to everybody, and that's one of the things that's great about it. And that's kind of what makes Pixar great as well. I mean, that's kind of the level that we're talking about here. Is Runaways and Pixar. If since Disney now owns Marvel, maybe they could do maybe Pixar could do a Runaways film, because that would be the shit. That would be fucking awesome. So that's my great idea. John Lasseter. Anyway, so we've got basically 2 of Brian K. Vaughan's books down. I also have to mention, I said there were going to be 3. There's actually a 4th, but it was a limited series, and it's called Doctor Strange: The Oath, which is a really amazing limited series of 4 issues, I believe. Basically, Doctor Strange's manservant, Wong, is dying of cancer. And the Oath itself is obviously a multi-layered title because but more specifically, it's referring to the oath, the Hippocratic Oath, first do no harm. And, his oath as a doctor, going back to his origins as a physician and a surgeon. And he will do whatever's possible to save Wong. Manservant, it's his best friend. And that's what makes, because it transcends the kind of magic genre and makes it a very personal tale for Dr. Stephen Strange, and for a character known as the Night Nurse, who basically treats vigilantes in New York City. And essentially it's discovery of a cure for cancer. But it could cure everything. It could cure every disease. What does one do with that? And that's where basically, the main drama of the story is what does one do with something that can cure every ill on the face of the planet? So again, it's Vaughan taking, a very simple premise and creating this marvelous and, at times very touching and beautiful piece of work. It's one of the few comic books that are recommended, for my parents to read, because I figured, well, even if they don't really even know the character, they would get a kick out of it. And now, again, we're going to take another break, and then we'll be back with the last book that I'm going to talk about, which the title of which comes from, an old Greek theater term. So, teasing that, we'll be right back.